give too much juice to the computer, and the computer explodes. And then once that explodes, fire. But I think that's probably the only way that could happen.
Okay, anyways, welcome to the Talk No Jutsu
It's not even
podcast.
started.
It actually has started because I clicked the
Why
button.
would you
It felt like the right thing to start
Yeah.
on. Fire and the conditions that we have here at the sets. This is a meanwhile set. We're only going to be using it for the meantime.
This
We're
is actually
building.
the main set,
Yeah, we have the.
state of Georgia.
If you find where we're at on this map, we'll send you $1,000
Yeah.
and a gift card, and we'll fly you out to the set that we're going to be building, that I'm going to be building by myself.
Yes.
But let's get right into it. A lot of information that we have with the Switch 2 announcement. I mean, what a reveal. I mean,
Well, actually, it's about time. Yeah, I mean, we pretty much knew about the Switch for months now. The exact measurements down to the T. So it's pretty much a time that they released it.
it just joined everybody else on the release because we already knew. Who do you? It's a bad leak. Or do you think it's normal for this to happen?
This typically happens.
Okay.
Once you get this deep into the release, people already have SKUs out there. They have the mock-ups. They have the measurements. The people probably actually had the physical units. Like the one guy that was at CES, he's probably had a physical unit.
He's also probably going to disappear.
Yeah. Greninja is going to show up to his door and probably, you know.
But I like to say that it was a very underwhelming release, only
Well-
because it felt like they were catching up to everybody else almost.
Well, it's not underwhelming because they know what they got. They know people are going to buy it. They're like, this is what y'all been asking for, so here, take it.
You're taking it. It's insane.
Stop asking us about it. Here it is.
That's kind of yeah, because it didn't really say much. I mean, the trailer was pretty cut and simple. We're actually gonna play it a little bit for you guys. As y'all can see, it's a very short, very to the point trailer. I mean, it just showed that when we could see the extra USB Type C at the top of the Switch. We have the little mouse that was confirmed. That was a rumor, but now it's confirmed. We're gonna be able to use that as a mouse.
Maybe. They definitely teased it
I-
as it'd be a mouse.
I think it's very obvious with the way they were using. Like,
You would think, but maybe not.
what do you think they would use it for then?
Nothing. It's Nintendo. They do weird stuff all the
They'll
time.
just forget about it at some point.
My question about it is, will the joysticks be Hall effect joysticks, or will we still continually get Joy-Con drift because they're too cheap to make the upgrade necessary, and they want people to continue to buy the Joy-Cons all the time?
Who knows? A lot of unconfirmed specs.
I don't know.
Actually, let me pull up some
I would
specs.
like it if it was Hall effects joysticks. It's unlikely though because they want people to buy those sweet Joy-Cons for probably $70 a piece. So
Probably not gonna be anything good. From the specs that were rumored, again, these are rumored. I found these on Twitch. I'm gonna tag the person who actually released this, but The rumor is that as a big jump, we are getting more RAM. We're going from 2. That's the original specs for the Switch 1, not the OLED. Which that one I feel like it was just a little bump in the graphics from the
Well, that's
Switch
OLED.
itself.
Yeah,
It was.
that matters to some people.
But if you're buying a Nintendo thing, you know it's not going to be like PlayStation or Xbox. You know, you
Yeah.
expect it to be meh. But we're jumping from 2 all the way to 2 gigs worth of RAM. Again, this is just unconfirmed, not yet by
I feel
Nintendo.
like the best way to concisely say this is the Switch 2 is essentially going to be a PS4 or a Series S Xbox. Nothing that's too crazy, but something that can pretty much run anything. It just depends on how good we're talking about it running. Hopefully that it'll be able to run most of the Nintendo first-party games at more than 7 frames per second, and it'll probably be able to run most regular games at probably 15 frames per second. But what's cool about the Switch 2 is they're using the DLSS technology that we see a lot of NVIDIA. They do this as well, where they just basically you run the software at a lower frame. Well, you run the software at a lower resolution and use the AI DLSS technology to upscale it to 4K. We see the PS5 does this, the Xbox does this, and then even the new Steam, the NVIDIA chips do this, where they will take something that's usually really around 1080p and they'll upscale it to 1440 or they'll upscale it to 4K. And I feel like that's heavily what the Switch 2 is going to rely on, and not so much of the CPU and GPU. They're going to use a lot of that type of technology to get it to where it needs to be on a technical level.
Definitely a big jump in technology compared to the Switch 1. Again, our comparison is going to be to the Switch 1, not to the OLED, only because OLED was more of a OLED. The OLED is, I feel like it's not really it's definitely not a Switch 2 because obviously we have Switch 2 now, but I don't feel like it was that big of a jump. So we're comparing it to Switch 1, it's definitely a big jump. I don't think it can compare though to the Portal or to the Steam Deck. Obviously those are a lot more heavier.
I would say it's more comparable to a Steam Deck than we might think. I feel like the Steam Deck obviously is more powerful, but for the price, I feel like the Switch 2 will be pretty good. It seems like a lot of people are going to start releasing their games. Xbox and Sony will be putting some games on the Switch 2. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a Call of Duty ended up on Switch 2. Maybe not native. They probably could stream it, or they could, again, run a very lower end and then use that technology to upscale it. But I would imagine that Switch 2 is definitely going to be dipping into the other companies' titles to try to get some of that revenue and not just rely on their own first party. So I'm pretty sure Nintendo will be happy about that. But it just depends on how good it's going to run. That's really the question. How is it going to run? I think it's going to run pretty good.
Well, it better because we've waited a couple years for this to come out. I mean, the price point again on rumor is it's going to be around $400. So I think that's a pretty good price point for the technology we're going to be receiving.
Yes.
It's a nice little package.
What I like about it as well is it's going to run not only the original Switch cartridges, but also it's going to run the digital games. So that means if you already have an existing SSD card for your Switch, you can just pop that into the Switch 2, and that'll save you some money because you don't have to buy a new SD card for storage in your games if you already have it on there. So I feel like they could have definitely made it a different way. They could have slapped the actual hard drive in there to try to make you buy more, but it doesn't seem like they're going that route. So Nintendo, this is actually the most safe thing Nintendo could have did. We've seen them do some weird decisions before with the Wii to the Wii U. And then we've seen them do even more weird things with the Wii U to the Switch. There's a lot of Wii U games that got brought over to Switch, but they never, fully came to Switch. They're just a Wii U port.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, is Mario Kart 8. That's a Wii U game. That's not a
Switch game. Yeah. Well, it looks like they did show us a little bit in that trailer, possibly
yes.
a new.
It seems
Mario
to
Kart.
be that's Mario Kart 9, allegedly.
Yeah.
At least it looks like it. I've seen some of the screenshots. We can even put some up. But there's more characters in the screenshot. Looks like there's 24 kart racers. And also the good thing about this is now this is the first time where we have a Nintendo where we actually understand how online functionality works. I don't know if you've played the Switch online, but you pretty much can't.
It's not the best experience.
With the Switch 2, hopefully now we're in 2025 now. Obviously, this technology for the Switch 2 was made a couple years ago, but the implementation now of the online should dramatically be improved. But also, it's Nintendo. They shut down Smash. They shut down Smash Melee tournaments because they didn't want people playing Smash Melee. So it's very possible the online will still suck. But
perhaps we get a new Smash game.
Maybe Miyazaki is getting old. Not Miyazaki, Sakurai. He's getting old.
Mm-hmm. It's not that definite that we would get a Smash game.
Yes, but we do know that Sakurai's been working on something after he did the big mystery reveal that all of his Smash reveals, all the characters, that was all pre-recorded. So this whole time, he's been working on something else. Again, Sakurai, he is up there in age. He's 70 plus. He's been talking about, moving on, but also, people like that, they just keep going. So I don't know. I feel like he's still passionate about something. He did say he is working on a project for Nintendo. We don't know what that is. It very well could be another Smash game, even though Smash Ultimate kind of is the definitive Smash experience. But it just depends.
Let's go over some of the obvious things that are definitely in our faces in the trailer. We're definitely going to get a larger screen. I'm going to get smaller bezels from what it seems at the top part. I think the bezels on the side still kind of look about the same. They just kind of went up.
Yeah.
If anything.
I feel like the bezels won't be as bad if this is OLED, which I assume it'll be an OLED screen by default. Unless they want to, get double dip and release another SKU with the OLED screen, which is very possible. Hopefully it's OLED out of the box and they don't double dip and release another version, another SKU 2 years later saying it's OLED, but who knows. Now we have these Joy-Cons. Now here's the thing that people have been talking about.
The magnetic?
Yes.
The possibility of snapping.
Yes. Now, Nintendo, these are essentially for children. So people have worried that, the Joy-Cons will snap off. Because
kids get very excited.
You can see in the picture, it's a pin instead of an actual magnetic thing that just slots in.
Slides together, yeah.
It's a great chance that this thing will snap on you.
That would suck so bad. I mean, Christmas rolls around, you buy your son a $400 gaming system, and they just smash it because they got too excited. Yes. I mean.
But I will say I believe that they have tested this with a lot of R&D to make sure that it won't just snap very easily. Or they don't care about us and want us to buy more $80 Joy-Cons all the time.
Probably was something like that.
More than likely. And again, like I was saying, hopefully these joysticks are Hall Effect joysticks. Hall Effect joysticks, they're magnetic as well, and you can't get drift.
Drag.
You can't get drift on those.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen some companies do it. Again, PlayStation, Xbox, they still haven't done it with their controllers. But I would hope that with Joy-Con drift being such a massive issue that Nintendo would have decided to listen to us. But they probably haven't.
Yeah, that's most likely.
But this is unconfirmed, so we don't know yet. It would definitely be nice if.
I wonder if they're gonna give us specs on these magnets too to see how strong they are before it comes out.
Probably. Well, we do have a deep dive coming in April.
Okay.
But at this point, we don't know.
We're gonna go over that deep dive as well. I'm gonna show y'all everything that we can find and get our hands on. I don't like the color scheme. I'm gonna be honest. All they did was invert the colors, and yes. I'm hoping they went lazy with the color scheme and the redesign they gave it because they wanted to put more time into the actual system with hopefully, like you said, new joysticks, hopefully a better screen, OLED out the box. Hopefully that's why they got lazy with the redesign. I don't like the redesign. I think it's boring. Because, again, it's made for kids, so I feel like it should have been a tad more colorful. Maybe they could have changed some things here and there, but I don't like the fact that I feel like somebody was just in the office and just, inverted the colors, and we're like, okay, this is good enough.
I feel like they did this to say, hey, you know what you're getting here. Let's just cut it all out. This is us. This is bigger, better. More adults, though, this time.
Yeah.
You get the Switch for your kids, the Switch 2. You grew up, you got a Switch when you were 15. Now, you're in your 20s. You're grown up now. It's time to put your big boy pants on, and we got you an adult console this time, for real. So they go with a more understated look. I don't mind it. It is going towards that Steam Deck design, that ROG Ally design, these more PC-like designs, which, I mean, to be fair, they copied Nintendo. I mean, the Switch did start this. So they're just saying, hey, we're not going too crazy. You know what you're getting. Also, I can imagine that this understated color scheme will allow for more overstated limited releases. I very well imagine that when that Mario game comes out, you will get a Mario version, you will get a Zelda version, you will get probably a Pokemon version that all have crazy colors that you can only get those Joy-Cons.
With those, that actually would make it more worth it too, because before it wasn't too worth it, but now it would be a lot more worth it now.
So I feel like that's where they're gonna, get their double dipping from, the exclusive release of the Switch 2. Like, I definitely could imagine an all red, blue Mario version of the Switch 2, where the whole thing is one color. That would be killer, especially in this market nowadays. How
Well, the system's kind of boring.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk about now, Josh suspects this new button is gonna be pretty useless. I'm trying to think what they could use this button for, but because they did add the extra button on the right side. What did you call it? A snapshot or capture button?
Capture button.
Another capture button. I think it would be pretty useless to put another button and it's just another capture button. Why do you think they would do another capture button if they did? Because the control's already in your hand, so you might as well just click the left side. Why would they add another button?
I feel like this will, again, we're in 2025 now. Uploading stuff is more prevalent than it was in 2017, so I could easily see this capture button being an easier way to grab clips, directly upload clips to X, to YouTube, whatever you need to do in order, well, Twitter, X, to make sure that
Josh hasn't updated his app. We're gonna get on that later. He still has Twitter. It's a real thing.
So the capture button will be an easier way for that. That's what I think. Even streaming, who knows? Who knows?
Okay. Well, he thinks. We'll see what happens once we get that deep dive in.
There's also a possibility that it's a camera button, and there's a camera on this thing, which I doubt. They didn't show it.
Yeah, because also the details on it is like very limited. It's just showing you there's an extra button on that side, and that's just about it. There's not much details. Obviously, all they did was just a rolled out trailer here. You guys were right. This is what it looked like. You hit it dead in the mark, and that's just about it. Yeah. Because they didn't even tell us what games are going to be backwards compatible and which ones are not. No list.
Some.
Just some, but that's such a vague sum. I mean, hopefully they bring games that people actually want, and they don't leave out games that people are like, we don't even play this. Why did you even bring this over? Because Nintendo low-key kind of hates their fans sometimes.
No, they do hate their fans. Like the Metroid Prime trilogy has been sitting for years. There's games again they're still on the Wii U that they haven't brought over. I don't know. It's gonna be weird to see how they're gonna do this. Hopefully they do what's right for the fans, and don't make more weird Nintendo decisions. But they definitely, I suspect, will continue to make weird Nintendo decisions. I mean, they released this trailer at like 4:00 in the morning, so they definitely do weird things.
Well, it's in Japan too, so I mean, yeah. I think their time they had an excuse for that one, perhaps.
Maybe.
All right, so now we're gonna let Josh go on a little bit of a rant.
I'm messing with a rant. Talking about the new Pokemon ZA, or as I like to call it, ZA. So this is actually the first Pokemon game that we're getting that's taken a full year to develop. We did not get a mainline Pokemon game last year, and this is the first Pokemon game, hopefully, that's going to be developed for a real console. I do love is I don't. Okay, Pokemon Sword and Shield was not good. Unfortunately for us, but fortunate for Game Freak and Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, it was the best-selling Pokemon game of all time. Even though that game had severe pop-in, ran in 12 frames per second, just wasn't a good experience overall. They did come out with Pokemon Legends Arceus. that necessarily wasn't a mainline Pokemon game. It was fairly good. Um, but this again, Pokemon Legends ZA, will be piggybacking off of that Pokemon Legends Arceus, but it's gonna again be one of the mainline releases. So this is our first mainline release again in a full year that we haven't gotten. So I'm expecting Game Freak. I'm expecting the Pokemon Company to put some time into this, but it's a toss up. It is gonna be on the Switch too, but I'm pretty sure it's also gonna be on Switch. If I had to guess,
Yeah.
which would scare me just a little bit. But hopefully it actually runs smooth
On the
this
Switch
time.
too.
Yeah.
From what I had seen, I think IGN also even posted though, you are gonna be able to tell though that it wasn't made for the Switch too. So it might run smoothly, but there might be possibly extra things that you could do with the Switch 2 that maybe the Pokemon game is not going to take advantage of. I am by no means a Pokemon expert. That would be Josh, perhaps, because I don't really mess and divulge on Pokemon. I feel like it's a very nice universe. It's very extensive though. From the little bit I've stepped and dabbled my foot in, it seems like something that is very long to get into. So I haven't gotten into it. Perhaps I'll give it a try if they release a new game that is good. Maybe I can learn.
For me, it's exciting knowing that this is the first year that they took a full year off in their development cycle. So that means good things, hopefully. Or they just had it ready and they just said, "Wait, it's very possible."
That would be.
It's Nintendo. They do weird Nintendo things, but it just we've gotten poor ports. Okay, like Scarlet and Violet, like. This is poor. It's not good. It's a rehash. Again, Sword and Shield was okay. Legends Arceus was okay, but they're not because it's unacceptable for a game to come out and perform the way how they performed. The problem is these games make so much money. I don't know if you knew this, but Pokemon is the highest earning IP in the world, more than anything.
I didn't know
so
that.
Pokemon literally prints money. So pretty much. They don't have to try with these type of games, but hopefully they tried.
Well, they have a very loyal fan base. I will tell you that. Did you see the new release for that? I think it was a new pack that just came out. That was
new pack for what?
I don't know the packs again because I'm not a Pokemon fan, but I just remember going on Instagram.
Physical cards?
Actual physical cards. They had just released them, and that was an insane. You Pokemon nerds are really down for your cards because that was insane. There was a little kid that actually just got basically trampled to get to that card. I think if I can find the clip, I'll probably put it. But he got a little trampled there, and there's grown men fighting over cards. I don't see the hype behind it only because I don't collect cards. Don't attack me, but I just don't see the hype behind the cards. I'm not a card collector. I'm hoping maybe with this new Switch game, perhaps I will get into Pokemon. Perhaps a little bit. Get to divulge in their intricate world in the way that works. Perhaps I'll get me some cards. I'm not too sure I will.
What's your opinion on the physical, card releases? You think that's cool, or you don't really?
I don't really divulge in cards. The only cards I have known about and know a little bit about are the One Piece trading cards. And that's a tangent for a whole other day because I love those cards and they look really good. I have seen Pokemon cards. I grew up around Pokemon cards. Some of my friends loved Pokemon, so they had a ton of cards. I had a binder filled with Pokemon cards. I think it's really cool. They look sick. I just don't think it's worth throwing a child around to get a Pokemon.
Okay. Full disclosure, I don't think many things are worth throwing a child around for. I mean, something, but not a lot of things are worth throwing a child around for. I like the physical aspect only because it's cool. In this day and age, everything's digital now. So it's cool to have something that's physically tangible. I don't divulge in Pokemon trading cards. But I think it's cool enough, at least,
But we will continue this Pokemon discussion perhaps on another episode.
Yeah, once we get more information. I mean, we haven't seen much from it in a while, other than the initial reveal, last year. So, I doubt we see anything in April. If anything, it's probably going to be that Mario Kart game that they're showing off. Hopefully. Well, I'll ask you, what's your hope for the release lineup?
I kind of already said it. I do want another Smash Bros. I would love another Smash Bros.
For launch or just in general?
I would want it for launch. I know it's not. It's just throwing coins in the well. But I mean, that would be sick. I think that would bring a good amount of hype behind. I'm kind of hoping that this new Mario Kart game actually comes with a few surprises on it. I hope it's not just another remake with almost like a skin redesign type thing. I hope this new Mario game is actually a lot more entertaining. Mario Kart 8 was nice, but it's like it gets boring. You know, you've played it for so many years now that you just kind of don't want to play it anymore. It still has some hype behind it because I learned, at least because I don't play that much Nintendo, but I still learned a little few tricks here and there with the game. But I would definitely hope that this new Mario Kart game is a lot better than all these other ones. I had, which game was it? I think the Last of Us. I think they did say that it may be on it or no. No? I think I don't remember which game it was, but and
what
failure.
might come on there.
Switch is not gonna do good.
What may actually be a surprise is Halo. I could see coming on to there.
I'm not into Halo. I'm gonna go ahead and admit that. I'm not into a lot of things. I try Halo.
We'll have to talk about Xbox another time, but I definitely can see Halo being a game that comes to the Switch. Nintendo and Microsoft have been friendly in the past, but Xbox is definitely doing some things that are interesting, to say the least. So I could see that being a weird one. Halo coming to the Switch, possibly at launch, because Xbox and Microsoft are being very aggressive about their new plan. I can see a lot of actual games, though. Not The Last of Us, of course, but I can see a lot of third-party, big titles of third-party going to the Switch. Like I said, like a Call of Duty, even though it's technically first-party now, but like a Call of Duty, like Assassin's Creed. I can see a lot of bigger titles that you would imagine wouldn't come to a Nintendo platform because of the power, but I can see it now with streaming and with that DLSS. I could definitely see these bigger games coming to the platform now and kind of opening up that. That's what I would imagine that Nintendo would want people to have. To say, okay, buy the Switch. The Switch can now be your dedicated gaming console. I could see that being the world. Obviously, you would need good internet because I would imagine some of these games will need to be streaming only. But if you have good internet and you can stream it, so that we've seen that happen even with the base Switch. You can stream some games to it. It's not necessarily the best, but it works. So with a more powerful console,
perhaps there's hope on the horizon.
We see how good the Portal is. Obviously, the Portal is proprietary with your PS5, but again, that technology exists. So, and you can even stream to your Steam Deck. So if you could do that with your Steam Deck, I can definitely see a lot of titles being able to be streamed only to the Switch, and even possibly some run natively with that extra power that we have.
Yeah, I think that will be it for our little Switch episode. Hope you enjoyed it. What do you guys think? You guys tell us what games you guys would want to come here on the new Switch. Go ahead and leave a comment below if you think any of your games or favorite games may come. And for y'all who think your favorite games might not come, I feel bad for y'all. But I hope there's still a game that you guys would enjoy with the Switch. Hopefully, we get more information. What you said is coming out in April.
Yeah, we're getting a direct in April. Then they're gonna have some events, like one in LA. I forgot exactly where all they said. Maybe we'll go to one. Get you guys some actual coverage.
Perhaps I actually had that. Hold on, let me see if I can get that
some
up.
Hands-on coverage. That would be nice to see for the Switch 2. I'm just ready to get it though, personally. Ready to get it. See if it actually works. Obviously, I would love to play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and it actually not stutter in 2 frames per second when I go to the ancient, when I go to the Forbidden or the forest, the heavily fogged area. And then a new Mario. I mean, it's time. We haven't had a new 3D Mario in a while, again, since Odyssey. So, obviously, they're cooking something up.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so now I got the event locations. We're going to have one in Dallas, Los Angeles, and New York for those. So hopefully we'll be able to get some content if we're able to go, because we need to register, and I think it is a randomly selected drawing. So
it's a lottery. Well,
it would have to be everybody else can be able to go, but even if we don't go, we will still get you as much footage as we can.
We'll have coverage once we have the information.
Yes, we will. Hope you guys like and subscribe. Stay tuned for anything nerd here at Talk No Jutsu Podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode. I've been your host, X.
And it's me, JB.
And we'll see you on the next one. Adios. Perfect. What if I just started recording right now? That would suck. And you know what?
Well, why is this thing so strong?